Welcome to Puvanur Aadhi Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur Aadhi Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Today is Bhagula Panchami, January 6th, 2018. I am going to start level 4. The advanced lessons starts from here. We had seen level 1, Balapadams, the phrases, short furans, the Trikalam concepts. That was in level 1. In level 2, we saw the basic sequences, the different sequences in Aadhi Thalam, Rupaka Thalam, Misra Chapathalam and Ganda Chapathalam. Then we went on to level 3 where we introduced 35 thalas. We have put the chart, the way 35 thalas had got evolved with 7 Sapta thalas and Pancha Jatis, 7 into 5, 35. We have dealt in detail what are the angams in that. We know the terminologies like Lagu, Dhritam, Anudhritam. These were the things which we saw. As we move, as we advance our lessons, you will also be exposed to Guru, Pritham and Kakapatam. Those are other elements of the structure of the Thalam, which I will explain as we deal with 72 Melagartha Thalas and 108 Thalas, where I had involved extensively on research and analysis with Dr. T.K. Murthy, the legend. I will deal with it as we move along. Those are more advanced lessons. Level 4 is more. Also, I wanted to highlight in level 3 we saw 5 or 6 thalas like Misra Jadi Tripata Thalam, Sangirna Jadi Tripata Thalam, Ganda Jadi Tripata Thalam, Misra Jadi Tripata Thalam, Misra Jampa Thalam. Those were the 5 thalas which we saw in detail. We also saw how to adapt from Aadhi Thalam to these complex thalas. And I also explained how to go relational when you have to learn these lessons. You always have to go relational. As I told you, 3 square plus 4 square is 5 square. A Rupaka Thalam and Aadhi Thalam 4 you can incorporate that to play a Ganda Chapathala. You can incorporate a 7 and a Tisram 3 and make it 10 and play in Ganda Chapathala. You need to know, have a relational study so that you don't forget things. Typically, you have to understand by relating certain object so that it quickly comes to your mind so that you can play. Especially these art forms are very exhaustive and it's all like Veda. Like as we learn more and more, you tend to forget. And for you not to forget is to ensure that whatever you learn in one thala, you can use that in the other thala, you can use that in another thala. That relational aspect should come in place. This delta, what is the difference? What is the difference between a Rupaka Thalam and Aadhi Thalam? If Rupakam is 24 aksharams, Aadhi Thalam is 32 aksharams, there is a 8 akshara difference. How do I go about adjusting this and play and adapting this into that thala? These all should come as you move along, as you advance, as you practice and rehearse. You will get to know all insights into this. That's what is called the Jnana quotient. The knowledge quotient is by going through this learning and doing a vichara, introspection of the learnings by which you come up and you advance your concepts. Before I get into level 4, let me begin this class with the Thirukkural. புகழ்பட வாழாதார் தன்னோவார் தம்மை இகழ்வாரை நோவது எவன். What is the meaning of it? தமக்கு புகழ் உண்டாகும்படி வாழாதவர்கள் தம்மை நொந்து கொள்ளாமல் தம்மை இகழ்கின்ற உலகத்தவரை நொந்து கொள்வது எதற்காகவோ. Let me repeat the meaning. தமக்கு புகழ் உண்டாகும்படி வாழாதவர்கள் தம்மை நொந்து கொள்ளாமல் தம்மை இகழ்கின்ற உலகத்தவரை நொந்து கொள்வது எதற்காகவோ. That's the meaning of it. What does the Thiruvalur say? If you have not attained fame, you should blame yourself. You cannot blame somebody just because you are not got achieved the fame or something. You need to do your introspection. Why are we not there at that position what the other person has achieved? It's an introspection what we need to do. We need to do self-correction and then try to improve ourselves, how to excel oneself to the next level rather than comparing and blaming others. It's a great message by Thiruvalur, by this Thirukkural and by Thiruvalur. Let's try to assimilate this knowledge and move on in our lives. Okay, I am going to begin the level 4 as per the syllabus. I am going to cover the korvais, the basic korvais, what you can play and what you have learned before. So meaning, like when you learned level 2, the basic sequences, you just played the different sequences, you played the phrases in those sequences, the family of sequences, as I told you, Kadagadim family, Thalangudim family, Thakadanadim family. Then you learnt the short moras or tirmanams. Now, to extend that further, it's called korvai. Korvai is a terminology used for filling in between those sequences. Rather than just playing the sequence, to enrich and show your knowledge, is this aspect of korvai come in. So this got evolved. So it's a construction of the phrases into a sequence and with beautiful math behind it. That's the reason why the academy, the Laya Academy, whomsoever is dealing with Laya art, it's music and mathematics. There's no doubt about it, because it should be musical, and if you look at it inside, there is a mathematical element in it. The specialists here or Dr. I would say Lalgudi Jayaraman, if you listen to his violin concert, it's very mellifluous music. If you continuously watch it, it will be very structured. You will be taking from one level to the next level and building it beautifully. And if you look at its interludes, it's full of mathematics. It might not be hidden, very obvious to you. Look at his tilanas, look at his varnams, the way he is composed. If you look at it, you can appreciate the beauty of maths within the music. There are many other artists who have really worked for it to ensure that the musical aspects is not affected by this mathematical approach. You cannot be completely mathematical. You have got to have mathematics. You need to understand what mathematics is, but you have to go out to use it with wisdom. Use the form, use the stage, the type of stage, and you have to adapt your style of playing according to the situation. So that's the background of before I get into the actual maths of this korvais. So the first of its kind I'm going to do is Aadhi Thalam. You have learned 12 sequences. I'm going to teach you some set of korvais, and I'll also teach you where you can fit in these korvais, and also teach you how these korvais are structured, these sequences are structured. Once when you understand it, from there you can have your own idea, because as I am opening these doors of creativity, door of how this korvai by itself is deciphered, is re-engineered, and how it's constructed, if I could explain you, probably you can construct 10 many different varieties using your own idea, knowledge and wisdom, whatever you have learned in school. Because the maths, your literacy, all these will help you to conceptualize your own patterns once when you get this idea of how to go about doing a simple korvai. So the approach in level 4 It's going to be very, very simple. Going to take simple korvais, explain you, and then from there, when I get into the next level, I will teach you how the stalwarts have approached it. I will take examples, vivid examples from people who have contributed significantly their own patterns, how nicely they have evolved. We will go about it in level 5. So to begin with, tad din din na, takadana din na, din na, takadana takadana da, din na, takadana din na, din na, takadana da, din na, takadana din na, din na, takadana da, din na, takadana da, din na. This is how we ended in level 2. Now, instead of playing the mora, before the mora, you can interlude this sequence and then play the mora to show that you have advanced your skills. The first korvai, what you are going to learn. Aadhi takadina thom. Ti takadina thom. Takadina thom. Takadina thom. Tadikitatan. Tadi takadina thom. Ti takadina thom. Takadina thom. Takadina thom. Datti takkadadum, datti takkadadum, datti takkadadum, datti takkadina takadina Ti takkadina tom. Takkadina takadina tom. Takadina tom. Kedataka da. Now we saw this fundamental korvai. I just expressed the forms in 3 different varieties. I am going to explain you now by dissecting each and every part, like as you do a practical session in a biology class by dissecting a frog or a cockroach and see this is the part, this is the part, this is the part. And then once when you know everything, then you have understood everything because the science behind it or the anatomy behind it. But when you understand this, then it's much easier. Rather than learning the korvai, the way I've learned the korvai, my master taught me this korvai I played. Then I came home, I researched why it's not coming. What is the korvai behind it? Once when you do that sort of an analysis, you will understand, hey, this is how it has to be done. Once when you do this research is search again, research. So you have to search again, and once when you identify what is it within this korvai, I think you can do about 10-15 varieties. So that is whatever the rich experience I've got out for many years. I'm trying to give you right up front when you're learning it first time. So you're way ahead. You can construct your korvais, you can understand better, and you can play better. Now let me dissect. Tadhi, takadina, thom. There are 4 elements in it. Tadhi. Though when you say tadhi, you might say somebody will say 2 syllables, somebody will say half syllable. But when you look at granularly, tadhi is 1 beat. 1 beat is equal to 4 syllables. But when you are telling tadhi, only two syllables you are telling, why it is 4 aksharas? Taha, dihi. It's hidden. So you have to understand. Tadhi is taha dihi. Tadhi. Tatha didi. Tatha didi is inherently within it. That is what you have to understand. The next one is a continuous phrase. Takadina. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is continuous. Takadina again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tham. You say only 1, but still it's 4 aksharas. Taga gaga. Tham. Taga gaga. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next 3 is silent there. So if you dissect it, there are four components in this. Tadhi, takadina, takadina, tham. The first beginning of it is tadhi. Though you are telling only two syllables, it's actually four aksharas. Taha, dihi. The second two is very easy. Takadina, takadina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tham again is inherent. Taha, ha, ha. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tham. Tham, tham. You can say tham, tham in your mind. Or taha, ha, ha. Eventually, when whatever the way the Brahmalayam is, the way you said, other things should be in silent, and that's the way it should be. Tadhi, takadina, takadina, tham. So that is total aksharas of the first part of the korvai is 16. 16 aksharas, 16 syllables. 16 syllables are there. Now, the next part, tit, takadina, takadina, tam. You are removing the first two aksharas. The second part becomes 14. When you want to experiment whether it is coming and fitting in 14, which word thala you can approach. Misra Chapu thala is the most ideal thala because it's a 7-beat cycle. Tik takadina takadina tam. Perfectly fits. So you can match. You should do this analysis. How come Vishwa says 14 aksharas? Can I experiment and verify? How do we verify in a lab? You have to verify your results, test results. When you have to verify something, you have to go and check it. And where you can check? In thala structure. In our condition, when you are learning an art, you have to check only in our thala beat, 7-beat cycle, see whether it fits. It takadina, takadina, tam. It perfectly fits a 14. It is a 14 syllable. The next one is takadina, takadina, tam, which is 12. Reducing from 16 to 14 to 12. Takadina, takadina, tam. 12 is Rupakatalam. Takadina, takadina, tam. You can fit it there. So it perfectly fits in Rupakatalam. So 16, 14, 12. Then the last takadina, thong. Then when you are constructing, especially the korvai, you cannot have only reduction and then you just finish it because it's just a abhipraya. When you are constructing a korvai, there is a first half, there is a second half, in between there is a karvai which makes it complete. Your connector is thong is the connector. Then takadina is 4. Takadina thong, taddi kittatum, taddi kittatum, taddi kittatum. Takadina thong is what? Takadina is 4, thong is 3, 4 plus 3 is 7, and the last 5 into 3 is 15. So 7 plus 15 is 22. So if you add it up, next time I'm going to demonstrate. I've got a whiteboard here. I'm going to demonstrate, write it down and break it into pieces, and we will show the video how exactly this korvai is formed. So visually we will present you this. So which gives you a much more better explanation how we are arriving at a 64 syllabled korvai for 2 cycles of Aadhi Thalam. This is a 64 akshara korvai. How it's constructed? 16 plus 14 plus 12. 16 plus 14 is 30. 30 plus 12 is 42. Then takadina thong. 7, 42 plus 7 is 49. And then 3 5s. Tadi kittathum, tadi kittathum, tadi kittathum. 15. 49 plus 15 is 64. This is how the korvai is structured. This is the math behind the korvai. You have learned the music, you have learned the math, and the way you have got to play. This is what I did for the second time is I taught you trikalam. Taddi takadina, takadina. Instead of takadina, takadana dintha. 2 times takadina. Takadina is the equal interval of the next side, next column, or takadana dintha. Dintha and takadina are equivalent. Takadina is equal to dhimtha. Dhimtaha. So the only 2 syllables you are expressing, but it's equivalent to takadina. So when you play the second time, just to give a variety, you give takadina dintha. Tadhi takadina. Takadina dintha tam. When you do for the third time, and in that the last 3 tadiketathom, I taught you in Balapadam what are the different varieties you can play tadiketathom. 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 All these things we saw in those lessons. So when you look back with the variety of tadiketathom, I am just using a different variety of tadiketathom here to express when I play the second time korvai. Third time when I play the korvai, tadhi takadina tagadana dam. I replace tagadana dinta with tagadana, which is of another second column of tagadana. So this is how this korvai is constructed. This is korvai number 1. I want to give you variety now. Now this is, you can play either this korvai or you can play another korvai. Tadhi takadina tong. Tadikitathom takadina tong. Tadikitathom takadina tong. Tadikitathom tong. Here the math is tadhi takadina tong tadikitathom. The total size is 5 beats. 5 into 4, 20 aksharas. Tadhi, takadina, 12. Thong tadikitathom. 3 plus 5 is 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. Now, then a reduction happens. Takadina thong tadikitathom. It's 4.5 beats, which is 18 aksharas. Then takadina thong tadikitathom. That is 16 aksharas. Now let's go about it. Aadhi takadina thong tadikitathom. Takadina thong tadikitathom. Takadina thong tadikitathom tha. So this is the flow of this one. So takadina thong tadikitathom is 20. Takadina thong tadikitathom 18, 38. Takadina thong is 38 plus takadina is another 8. 38 plus 8 is 46. Thong tadikitathom is 3 plus 15 is 18. 46 plus 18 is again 64. The math, whatever I am taught today, we will do a whiteboard, we will write those korvais, we will explain, dissect those numbers and ensure that how you are arriving at 64. Once that is done, and when you view it, it's easier to learn and you can appreciate the maths behind it. It's a descending progression, it has got a math in it, it has got a build of the Purvangam and the Uttarangam. There is a connector, thong in between. The later half is little different, a different color than the front half. Tagadina is a phrase. Tadikitathom is another phrase. You're giving 2 different varied phrases, getting connected, and you are developing this sequence. The third one is Takadina thom. Takadina thom. This is the third variety. So, here the speed varies. It's a 10 aksharas, 2.5 beats. Then it comes reducing in one after the other, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Till then it reduces. After you push one, in Ganda Chapa, it's right away fits after one beat. So 10 minus 1, 9. So after one akshara, you can play this 9. Then so that is 8. You can verify in your lower octave, in your higher octave. In a higher octave, if you put it, you will not understand. Only when you play twice, you will be able to understand whether it is a 7 beat, because it is fast space. So you have to put it slowly. When something is not fitting, coming halfway through, reduce the speed. Rule of thumb is reduce the speed, see whether it is fitting properly. Perfectly fits. When you play at the higher speed, you have to tell twice. Otherwise, it will come in the half of the beat. You will not understand how much speed, how much aksharas is that phrase. So to understand, you have to go down, understand, and then express it. Then Thalam is Tisranadai. When you put it in that framework, you will know how much matras is that particular phrase. Otherwise, you will vaguely play. So, Tagadintatam is 4, Dintatam. Tagadintatam is 5, Takadintatam. When you play, it is Ganda Chopper. Takadintatam. That is where it is. Tagadintatam, 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 Tagadintakradam, 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 Tagadintatam, 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 Tagadintakradam, 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 Tagadintatam, Tagadintatam, Tagadintakradam, Tagadintakradam, Tagadintakradam. Instantaneously, you can even play korvai on the spot. I'm just telling a particular way how I was checking one, but I'm able to construct a korvai on the fly. It's possible. So then Dintatam. So that's how it's logically coming down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 6, 5, 4. Then if you add all these math, so 64 minus 15, it is 49. 49, yeah, it's 49. When you add from 10 to 4, it will be 49 plus 15, it is 64. It's a perfect korvai. So you've learned 3 different korvais for now. 3 different korvais. You don't have to play all the 3. Don't confuse one after the other. When you're deciding to play any one korvai, you play continuously that for 3 times. Whenever, the rule of thumb again, as you're learning your first sequence, always when you play a korvai, you play 1 time or 3 times you have to play. If you have, for want of time, you can play once, but when it's a satyam or the sampradayam is 3 times you have to repeat. But if you try to repeat the same korvai 3 times, the others will feel bored. So you have to give variety when you play the first time to second time to second time to third time. You should have a variety. Then others will look at you, hey, this guy is going to do something the second time, something the third time. Let me watch him. That should be the inquisitiveness you have to build when you are playing. Those were the inquisitiveness which was evoked or it was given, they motivated by the great Mridangam Vidwans. They used to play completely differently the second one and completely come out with a very simple approach in the third one. They will completely put a googly by their expertise. So with this I conclude this class, but I want to demonstrate where you actually have to fit this korvai along with the sequence. That's important. fill. After you play the sequence, you cannot abruptly stop. Then you have to play tataka din takat vitaka jun talangadan tatam talangadan tatam talangadan tatam. What you have tried to do now in this level 4, you are becoming an advanced student. After playing a sequence, you graduated with you korvai, and then you play a tirmanam and get into the next phrase. That's the graduation you're making now. And when you're making this korvai, you need the memory, you need to play 3 different times, you need to structure it, you need to have the thalam perfectly. Korvai is not as easy as the sequence. Korvai is a combination of some tadikitatom, thang, all these things of odd number syllabled phrases are coming in between. So you need to understand all those. So it's a good introduction for you. We will see more in the next class of how to go about it. I'll teach you more korvais, I'll give the maths behind it. And one more thing we will do is, we will also do the explanation part. Will be captured and it will be shown on your video, so you can understand the math also, the full math behind it. Leisurely, if you're not able to, if it goes, for some it goes out of the mind, to ensure that it comes perfectly sinks into yourself, you need to watch again and again. We'll end this class with the record. வசை என்ப வையத்தார்க்கெல்லாம் இசை என்னும் எச்சம் பெறா விடின் தமக்குப் பின் எஞ்சி நிற்பதாகிய புகழை பெறாமல் விட்டுவிட்டால் அத்தகைய வாழ்க்கை எல்லாருக்கும் பழி என்று நல்லோர் சொல்வர். What does Tiruvallur say here? So when you live with fame and with fame and name, that's what they say, people say. But don't feel later the regret that you have not achieved. No, that I have not achieved so in spite of all my hard work or something. So every time what Tiruvallur says is, whatever you do, and if you work till the end, till you lay the footprints, you try to work and be achieve fame. Others will say if you don't achieve it, then people will find fault with you. Don't look at others, you look for within yourself and try to achieve that. And that's the inner meaning in it. So with this good thought, let's work towards getting something in our lives in whatever the best possible way, whatever God has bestowed us with the knowledge or the wisdom, we'll try to achieve something. Pranams, Puvnur, we are signing off. I'm very happy that I've started level 4, and for the students who are here, it's a great achievement by itself, and I wish you continue level 4 and 5 to be deemed as Vidwans. For sure, if you learn it right. Cheers. Episode 1, Aadhi Thalam, Korvai 1, Mathematical Understanding, total count of 64 aksharas. The korvai should be interpreted as Tadhi takadhina takadhina tham, Te takadhina takadhina tham, Takadhina takadhina tham, Takadhina tham, Tadikitatum 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 tha. Aadhi Thalam, Korvai 2, Mathematical Understanding, total count of 64 aksharas. Interpretation of korvai goes like this. Taddi takadina takadina tang, tadikitatum dit takadina takadina tang, tadikitatum takadina takadina tang, tadikitatum 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 tha. Aadhi Thalam, Korvai 3, Mathematical Understanding, total count of 64 aksharas. Interpretation of korvai goes like this. Tadittagadena dagadena din tattam, tittagadena dagadena din tattam, tagadena dagadena din tattam, tagadagadena din tattam, tagadena din tattam, tagadin tattam, din tattam, tadikitatum 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 tha.